Welcome everybody to the Your Desired Success Foundation Mastermind, all about paying it forward with the golden rule, which is, are you ready for this? Do unto others as you would have done unto you. So the power of a mastermind is shared around by Napoleon Hill. Some of you may be aware, one of the world's most well-known authors around success. Think and Grow Rich is one of his world famous books. He said, it is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, the experience and the influence, and perhaps the capital or the people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely on your own efforts for success. So let's set the foundation of the call, going through the principles, and Mother Ball, if you'd like to get started.
The purpose of the mastermind is to share our value and connect with like-minded people in order to create wealth in all areas of our lives.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member is committed to their own success, as well as the success of every member of the group.
We are committed to meeting in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
We are present. There is no multitasking or distractions during meetings.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback.
We are open and listen to different perspectives without being defensive or offering excuses.
We trust fellow members enough to share fully.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
Indeed we do. We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone.
We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and the high forces, one mind, one soul, one love.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies, for setting the foundation there. So today's topic, as I mentioned to you earlier, is accessing the value. So accessing the minds and value of others to win at the game of a life. And I've just realized that I actually, just bear with me a moment, I need to share this into the group. So seeing as though we are live. I'm just going to get this shared into the group so everybody else is receiving this as well. So,
yeah, it says you're live on Facebook.
It's for some reason it's not showing it in the group yet, so I'm just going to add it into there and make sure that okay, should be happening now. So this came about really from the interview, as I mentioned earlier, that my mum had done with me last night, and it helped me realize just how much I've grown, really through the power of my own experience, but also through the knowledge and wisdom of other people. And through them choosing to step forward and share that, it's allowed me to receive the message that I needed to receive, to take what I needed to in that moment, to be able to help me in that moment, but also learn and grow from the additional value that they shared as I've grown it in myself. So it's the same thing as when we watch a movie and we get what we receive what we need to from it in that moment. But when we watch it the second time or the third time, we always receive more things. And that's because of our growth. We start to pick up on different things. So when we were having the conversation, my mum and I last night, I came away in reflection of, one, I was so proud of what my mum had done through her own growth and seeing her growing. But I was also proud of myself through what I've been able to share and hearing how my mum was said, you know, witnessing your journey, seeing what you were doing has been inspirational. Well, there's people that are there's people who are in my life that I'm able to say thank you to. There's also many people who I'm not able to say thank you to because some of them aren't even with us right now. Some of them, they've chosen to step forward and share their teachings. The likes of Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, to name two people in particular who have massively influenced my life. Wayne Dyer, another person massively influenced my life. And all I have is eternal gratitude towards them because they chose to step forward and share what was inside of them, what their belief, what their knowledge was, what their experiences were. And I believe it's one of the most powerful gifts. So when we think back to the title, Accessing the Minds and Value of Others to Win at the Game of Life, I've been able to win in areas of my life through accessing the value of other people. And I'd love to know from each of you on the call and anyone listening on Facebook, who are the people that have either directly or indirectly influenced and mentored you to help you win in areas of the game of life? What are those things that are coming up for you as you contemplating this?
I actually had it happen today. So when I lived in Darwin, I was employed by this woman who owned a gym, and her and her husband, and she was just, a great teacher, a great mentor for me, and now, 15 years later, we're still friends. And so I sent her a message yesterday. So she now lives in Adelaide and owns a lingerie shop. And then I sent her a message yesterday saying that my bamboo pajamas I bought off her about 5 years ago have finally hit the bin. And, just because I'm trying to set my Facebook algorithm, which is another story. But anyway, so then she sent me a message back this morning, which I opened and said, I have a pair of summer pajamas. I'll send them to you as a gift. And I just felt the love because I'm struggling. I have been for the last 2 weeks with news that a friend of mine is going to heaven soon. And I haven't been able to talk to her, and I've been procrastinating for the last 3 or 4 days to just ring and leave a message on WhatsApp. And so after feeling the love from Gay, I got on the phone and left a message for Kaz, so that's all I can do. But yeah, she was the right person who turned up today to push me to get that call done. And she's someone who has inspired me, and taught me a lot of things. So yeah, I had a nice little win today with that. Because the reason I was really grateful is these pajamas are over $100, and she's giving them to me. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That ability for her to fill your cup, for you then to go on and let that overflow, and then go and to be of service to your other friend. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Great share. Thank you, Trudy. Now, come on, I'm on a call with 3 ladies, and as men, we all know the ladies can talk, so don't be shy. Come on.
I'm following on from Trudy, because when she said, oh no, you said it, fill your cup. That's what you've done for me, Martin. So yesterday you did that for me. I know you don't have a lot of time with everything you're trying to fit in, but you gave me 2 hours of your time yesterday. Well, I think it was about that. But the thing with that, you filled my cup. It was feeling a bit empty. And then just you taking the time to have a conversation with me, which ended up a bit long for you probably with your time. But the thing is, you filled my cup. I then spent 3 hours trying to fill in this form, which sounds ridiculous because I was following your details, but I got stuck on what to call myself, even though I liked what you told me, Carly Hydration. I still couldn't decide if that was right for me. I got stuck there, and then I got stuck on one other thing, which was auto ship. Then I redid it today because I wasn't giving up, because you filled my cup. I wasn't going to give up, because that's how much I valued you supporting me. And then it made me want to value me filling in the form and valuing me even more. It filled my cup. So then I just spent the last 2 hours still trying to fill in the same form, but got stuck on one other piece, which was the username. And in the end, I had to ask you, because I thought, you're going to get this bit of thing and go, why does she need to know that? Like, can't she just put in the username? But I didn't know, I didn't want to make a mistake, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of those things, once you put it in there, it's stuck there in the company, like a magic dust. So anyways, I'm just so grateful that we have people like Martin Ball, people like Rosa and Trudy, who I could reach out to, and all of you would fill my cup in just asking a question or asking for help. And anyone else listening, like, they could do that back to me, and I would do my best to support them to fill their cup back.
Well, you did that as well last week, Carly. You came on, and I was really struggling, and I was just really low in energy, and you just did a healing for me. You just took control, and it was you choosing to show up. So you choosing to be there and help me allowed me to start to gain more strength. That, you know, naturally it wasn't a case of, oh, well, you helped me, so I'll help you now. It was just that thing of, because of the way that we choose to be, then it's like, hey, if somebody needs help and I have the ability to help them, I'm being given this opportunity right now to do so. So even though we were on the phone or on the Zoom call for a couple of hours yesterday, there wasn't any, oh, I'm on this call, I shouldn't be on for this long. It was, I enjoyed every moment of it. And I was very fortunate and blessed to be the one who was chosen to be there to just hold that space for you and help you through what you were going through. But knowing that I'm able to do that because you and other people along my journey to this point have been there for me. You know, like my mother on the call, she's been there for me from the moment I was born.
Yeah.
So, you know, that allows me to give back as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's how important we actually all are. It's not about the people higher up in the spiritual hierarchy like Wayne Dwyer, who was magnificent in his ability to help thousands of people change. Just each one of us can help another to change. Like, we're all that important to fill each other's cup. You know, and that's what I was doing today with one of my friends from my feminine presence work that I've done. She was on her private Facebook group, and I was witnessing her in her emotional expression, and it touched my heart so much. I had to reach out and double check that she was actually okay, because the thought of not being able to do more than I can just by listening, like being able to help verbally or show up for someone, is so much more important. And just, even if she didn't need my help, it was the fact that I could send her that message on the voice message so that she knew that someone had her back if she needed.
Yeah.
That fills your cup up. Because I gave her the option, if she didn't need me, that she knows that I'm here if she ever does. Like, that's enough to fill up a cup.
And that thing that you said before around the likes of, you know, Wayne Dyer in particular, being able to impact millions of lives around the world, we still need support each day. Like, even though I've listened to Wayne's teachings and I've read some of his books, and I know that there's times when I need support, and it needs to be a conversation. It needs to be a healing. It needs to be a meditation. It needs to be something that I need in that moment that unfortunately Wayne isn't here to give me, or it's because I need it from somebody else. And it's that thing of, well, who am I willing to, one, give the opportunity to, but also who's willing to step forward to provide that. And I think that's one of the key parts of it, is who's willing to step forward and share their value, even if it's just from a place of holding space and letting somebody talk, being a pair of ears, which we all have the ability to do. I think where a lot of people get caught up is in, well, I don't have a coaching qualification, I don't have this. And yes, people who are qualified have learned certain modalities and certain things that they can help. But at the bottom, when it comes right to the core essence of it, are you somebody who's sitting there with an open heart, not from a place of judgment, who's just holding space for another human being? That's what it's about. Because there's some people who have a picture on the wall or a framed certificate or qualification on the wall, and you're just a number. You're just coming through as a name or a number on a sheet, and you come in and they saw you, go, okay, thank you, bye, next. Yeah. Well, that isn't giving people the time that they need. A good example of this is my physio. My physio has 20-minute blocks, and when I was going through the depression and stuff, I remember walking into his room, and he only said was, "How are you, mate?" And I just broke down. I was just crying and crying. I couldn't put words together, and he just held space for 45 minutes. He let the desk know, please, somebody else needs to deal with my patients. 45 minutes, he just held space and talked to me until I was safe enough to leave his room. Like, that's somebody who genuinely cares about their patients or human beings, to just hold that space and say, and there was no charge. It's like, you need this, and I've been the one who's chosen to be here for you right now. Mum?
Yeah, for me, it's I've lost my train of thought, and I keep thinking about you in that room. Was it with Mike? Yeah, I thought it was. So my mind went back to being in Oz and meeting him and everything. I told them on the presentation, if my mind goes on holiday, it'll take ages to come back, and this is what's happened. So yeah, for me, really, there's been, like Wayne Dyer and that, there's been loads, and obviously you, Martin, but I didn't realise how much I'd missed these calls until I jumped on this morning and saw your faces and everything, and realised that, yeah, we do support, we do help each other a lot. I became friends with two people in the Freedom era that live in England, and I became friends with them, and my first thought was, have I got time to have the calls with them? And rightly or wrongly, in my mind, and I suppose it is wrong, I thought that they're not in my team, but I wanted the connection with people. And I thought, well, I'll help them, because by helping them, somebody will help me. And little did I know how much they were going to help me, they themselves. You know, I thought, as where I was in Enagic, where I am in Enagic, and having Martin and everything, and being in the Freedom era, and my confidence growing, that I could move them. And I most probably am moving them, but I didn't realise what value they were bringing to me. And that came as quite a shock, really. I'm not saying that like because I thought I was better or more educated or anything, but I went thinking, oh, have I got the time for this? Where's this going to lead? And actually, it's been amazing. It has actually really been amazing. So by making myself give up my time to, as I thought, help these others, they have actually helped me, and it's been brilliant. So that's a massive lesson learned for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Just goes to show that we often don't know what's going to be the end result, and keeping our mind open to whatever's going to come from it. But yeah. But we have to show up.
Yeah, it reminds me of who really is the student and the teacher, you know, like who really is, because really we're both at the same time in any moment, like really, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you talk to any teacher, they'll say that the students are teaching me every day. I know that Bob Proctor said that he asked a group of kids question of, oh, do you know what? Every time I hear this, I always say, I'm going to remember this, and I always bloody forget it. they asked the difference. What's the difference between reacting and responding? And this 15-year-old girl said to him, I believe reacting is a habit and responding is us thinking. So, and he said it's the best answer I'd ever heard from a 15-year-old girl. So, or 15-year-old child, it doesn't matter whether it's boy or girl. But the point being that even at that age, because we notice this, and the ability for us to be able to slow down and process things. So I know for a fact that there's times when I'm flippant, when I might be like get frustrated with something, and that's a habit. And it's a habit that needs breaking because it doesn't serve me, and it certainly doesn't serve if I'm in front of anybody or with anybody or having a conversation with anybody. But that ability to just slow down and think about it and then respond accordingly, whether that be just to stay quiet, sometimes that's the best form of response, or to actually have a conversation around something instead of creating a level of detachment or negative energy in the space. And I think when I was doing a lot around the universal laws, Bob was saying in particular that when you put good out, good will come back, but often not immediately. But when you put bad out, it comes back straight away. And we notice that in regards to if we're rude to somebody or we're agitated with somebody, often it comes right back at us. But that thing of us going out there and doing good and being good can sometimes take a while before it comes back. But we all know, like I walk from here to the beach, which is 10 minutes if I'm lucky. So every person I walk past, in the morning, I always say morning. Always say morning. Most people say morning. Now, if I was to just look at somebody and smile, we all start smiling when we see somebody smiling at us. But some people don't. Some people just like, they don't bother. And that's that thing of when we're smiling, when we're saying it, when we're acknowledging somebody there, hi, morning, g'day, whatever it would be, we're acknowledging somebody else there. Some people just walk past, and it maybe it's the cultural thing, maybe they just don't want to talk to anybody, maybe they're going through some things. But there's that thing of if we put good out, sometimes it takes a while to come back. But if you went, not that I would, but if you're like, oh, you're an ugly bugger, there's a good chance they're going to turn around to me and attack me back. What the hell are you talking about? Straight away, instantly, negative energy. And I think that's a big part of that thing of when we look at the topic of accessing minds of value, accessing the minds of and value of others to win at the game of life, that how are other people thinking? How are other people showing up? What are the actions of other people? What is it that other people have done to get to where they are? And how can we leverage that? Why is it the four of us are together on a call? Why is it that we've got the community of Noble Goldman and all that to access? Why is it that there's a vault being created to put all coaches in there so that they can achieve their mission of helping empower other people to move forward in their lives, that we all have access to, whether that be to leverage and use it, or whether it be to add our own value in there as coaches or just everyday folk? Why is it that that's there? It's there because those people are choosing to do good in the world based on what we believe is good. And therefore, we have the opportunity to receive that. That's certainly the way that I see it. And the reason why I'm so passionate about accessing a lot of this stuff, because I know that every time I access something, and more importantly, not only choose to listen to it, but choose to act on what I've learned, things are improving for me. Like, how can that not be a good thing?
I have to say, when you're saying about going past people and smiling or saying good morning and they don't speak to you, that happens a lot in round here at the moment, because everybody's that frightened of catching COVID that they don't speak to you in case, you know, the germs fly over to them. But one thing I have learned, to smile at people and they don't smile back. But if they've got a dog, I always speak to the dog. And the instant you speak to the dog, they want to speak to you. And it always makes me laugh, because I always think the dog invariably comes over wagging its tail because it doesn't have any issues. And the human is like, oh, you know, but so that's what I do. I don't look at the owner now. I'll look straight at the dog and smile at the dog, and invariably the owner will smile back at me or say hello. Yeah.
It's amazing how dogs can actually, like when you see dogs come together and they're sniffing and playing with each other, and you think, and sometimes I love watching it happen. People just look at the dogs and smile, but there's two people there. And they're watching the dogs talking and playing with each other, but the people aren't even talking. And I'm thinking, how is this level of disconnection if the dogs in particular are teaching us unconditional love? And how are we missing that? Trudy, I think you were just going to speak there.
Yeah, no, just about that. Yeah, obviously I have a little thought to myself too about, you know, saying hello to people in the streets, because so there's another Indian girl here that's also a work away sort of thing. So sometimes we go down into the little village thing, you know, and she goes out with me, and like everyone's walk past, everyone just says hello, you know, how are you, waves at me, you know, because look at me in this country, you know, and she says, does that happen back in your country? And I said, well, if I'm on a road and there's not many people passing, I'll say hi to everybody that, you know, comes past. I said, but if you're in the busy street, I said, it doesn't happen, but, you know, because it just doesn't happen here in India because there's that many people. But, you know, like, yeah, she's just quite intrigued that, you know, I'm getting all these hellos. And she asked me, does it happen in my country? And I said, yeah, I also, you know, will just say a lot, you know, like, yeah, if I'm walking down Scarborough Beach or something, or down the track there, you know, I'll say hello to people. But yeah, you wouldn't do it down in the mall.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my days from Yorkshire, he's a Yorkshire lad, and in when we were like courting, I used to go over to Sheffield to his village, and I'd go out while he was working. I'd go and get, you know, food for the evening, and everybody, it was like I knew them all, and they all used to call you Duck, hello Duck, and I was like a bit strange, but it was amazing the amount of people who just everywhere. It was hello. And Dave comes over here and he's walking down the street and he goes, hello. And they like look at him like, who are you saying hello to, mate? And Dave was really found it quite uncomfortable for a while, but he still insists on saying hello, because his attitude is strangers are just friends that we've not been introduced to. And he'll say hello to everybody, you know, and it's great. It really is.
Yeah. I've been trying to say goodbye to him for ages and he won't leave me alone. Oh, the stepdad love. Yeah, there's so much value in it, and that's why when I was, as I said, when the topic came up this morning in my own mind, and I said, you know what, this is a really big important part, especially right where we're at now. I mean, I think for us now in Australia, it's a year since all this COVID stuff came up, and I think it's almost a year that the UK have been in lockdown.
Yeah.
So certainly for April, I think it might be. And you look and think there's never been a better time right now for us to be looking at what are we doing for our own mindsets? What are we doing for the way that we're thinking? How are we getting around different people? And you and I spoke about this last night, Mum, the importance of getting around like-minded people and being in that nurturing space, so that when you are having a challenging day, you can step into that arena or that bubble, whatever it would be for you, to receive what you need to, because the people who are in there are all in there to strive and become better. and many of them already have a level of value and are passionate, especially if the coaches are passionate about helping other people, without, in many cases, if not all cases, based on people who understand the power of do unto others as you would have done unto you, they're not seeing somebody as another number, another way to just earn money. They're looking and going, hey, I have a gift in this area and I would like to gift it to you. And that's one of the most beautiful things that is helping me become more consciously aware of how I can better serve myself to be able to better serve others. That's been one of my biggest lessons, I'd say, over the last probably 9-10 months, has been, how am I looking after self? Yes, you want to help all these people, but you're burning out. You can't help people if you can't help yourself. And some people think that that's selfish, but it's selflessness. You have to nurture self to be able to help somebody else. And once I realized that, and more so, it wasn't a realization intellectually, it was a spiritual realization through doing it. Like, wow, I don't feel like I'm getting drained anymore because I have all this stuff. So I know going down for a walk along the beach fills my cup. I know go four-wheel driving fills my cup. I know being on these calls fills my cup. I know being in the NG community and around all these like-minded people fills my cup. So as I said earlier on, with everything else that's been going on, with the challenges with the car and getting everything ready to leave, I've been detached from what was filling my cup. I've been doing what I felt needed to be done to be really living the vision. But through it, I was not able to serve myself and I wasn't able to serve others. And in a way, that's why I feel, in reflection, why I've missed several weeks of this. Because I wasn't able to come in and be of service. That was what was needed, and somebody else was able to step in and hold that space and add more value whilst I dealt with what I needed to deal with. I think that's an important part of just realizing and acknowledging where we are and sending love to self.
Yeah. I think, I think that is massive, isn't it? Because we forget to send love to ourselves, and we forget to step back and let somebody else take over the reins. I mean, we talked about this, we touched a bit about this yesterday in the Kangan community, when we were saying as women, we are working, and then we're trying to make the tea and put the washing on and peg the and do the ironing and keep the house clean and things like that. And to try and step back and let somebody else do it doesn't come easy to most women, does it? But that's what we need to do. And all we end up doing is getting agitated and stressed out with ourselves, because we can't cope with everything, can we? So yeah, it is. It's being kind to self, isn't it? Which
I think I first heard around this more so was when Oprah was interviewing some lady, and this lady said, and I don't know who it was, I can't remember who it was, but this lady who was very well known said, it was when Oprah used to do her chat shows where she had all the audience there, and this lady said, women need to stop putting their children and their partner first. And there was a load of boos in the audience. There was loads of boos in the audience. She said, because we can't help them if we're not helping ourselves. And Oprah actually just stopped and turned to everyone and said, you're not hearing what she's saying. Your response is based on what society believes you should be doing. She's not saying that you don't love your children or your partner. She's not saying don't be there for them, but she's saying take care of yourself in order to take care of them. And that is such an empowering place to be. But whilst we're stuck in this society, or if we want to use the word tradition, it's just all excuses for people actually not knowing what their core values are, not knowing who they are. And this was one of the things that was shared at a live event I was at, where I've shared it before, around we all have values. And when we get into a relationship, there's often values that become voids, where we give away our values. Going out and hanging out with the girls, and going shopping with the girls, or catching up and so on. The guys going out and watching the footy, or whatever it would be that's important. We start to get rid of these and they become voids. And then all of a sudden you're looking at each other and going, you weren't the person that I fell in love with, or who are you now? Because what you liked about these people, in all fairness, was the independence. They had things they were doing that were filling their cup that made them shine. And all of a sudden, they're not doing these things anymore. They're not shining. So it allows us then to look back and go, you know, a common one is the kids have now got old enough and they've left. Who are you? You were the person I first started with, because there's been so much love and devotion potentially, or focus on the children, that the relationship wasn't being nurtured throughout it. And I didn't realize the power of it until a few years ago, that one of my good friends, my mum knows them, her Beth, and her parents were always rock solid. They were always doing things together. And it was like, the kids are there, but hey, it's about our relationship. It's about our how we are together. The kids are a part of what we are, but they aren't the main thing. And it was really empowering, looking back now, to be in that energy, to be able to now understand or appreciate it rather greater than when I was around them. That's that thing of, if we're not clear on our values and we're not at least doing some of them each day or each week, I think I shared this on a live today, we fall off track, and then we are well out of balance, and it can affect the relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't just affect your personal relationship with self and the family. It affects the kids' relationship when they're adults, in their relationships, because they've learned not to take care of themselves in the relationship, of you not valuing yourself. You know, like as a mother, you start overgiving and not taking time for self. So you're showing the kids how to do the same in relationships. So the son grows up believing the woman does that in his next relationship. The daughter grows up believing that she's got to, whether she's conscious of it or not, she's got to start giving more, whether conscious or not. And then that, creates breakdown in the next relationship.
Yeah, Kylie, I was smiling to myself while Martin was talking, because when he was growing up, I remember a conversation between us. I asked him, we used to have Rottweilers, and I used to have the dried food, and what I used to do was soak the food. And I asked him to go and get the dog food to soak. And he looked at me and he said, I think he was about 15, 16, and he looked at me and he said, Mother, you look after the house, us men go out and work and bring the money in.
Did I really?
Honest, you did, yeah. So I said, that's fine. And I'm very, very hot-tempered, very, very, I fly like that. No, I didn't. Well, you were taller than me then.
No,
I couldn't.
I'm
already dangled me over the landing. So I said, right, that's fine, not a problem. And I carried on ironing. I mean, I was so angry, carried on ironing. And I went and got the dog food and soaked the dog food. And then a few days later, he came down with the shirt. And he said, Mum, can you iron this shirt? I said, no, I ironed the other day, Martin. He said, but Mum, I'm going out. I said, that's not my problem. It's not my shirt. It's not my problem.
Oh, she's evil.
And he got the ironing board out and he was stomping about. But the next time, I said, I asked you to help me and you wouldn't help me. And the next time I said to him, Martin, will you? There wasn't a hesitation, because but I brought them up where, I mean, I was very hard on them, basically because I couldn't cope and I didn't know how to cope. we weren't taught how to cope. Like you said, Kelly, the women do everything. They give everything to the children. And you see it more so nowadays. You know, the children make decisions that parents should be making, and they try and do everything for the children, trying to make the children happy. And I feel that the creating miniature adults who are actually totally lost. You know,
I get it. They're totally lost from self-love, self-value, self-worth. Like they're too busy giving and don't know how to give back to themselves. Like they think they're giving back to themselves from what they've learned, but they're actually not empowered in it.
Yeah.
In the value of what a real relationship is. So they're sort of an empty shell of self in a form, because when we become adults, that's why there's people in the world that are angry. They're frustrated. They're in fear. They're, you know, the media is having a field day with all those emotions and pulling people following that in anger, fear, violence against this person's coloured skin and this person's political view, because no one learned how to maintain self, like when a parent's meant to nurture a child but show them how to be independent, they've lost their way of independence.
Yeah, and it's everybody that.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, Kelly. It becomes everybody else's fault then, doesn't it? Because they don't know. You know, because people have always done things for them. People have always made things right for them. I can't remember whether it was Abraham Hicks. I'm a massive Abraham Hicks fan, and I'm sure it was her. Yes, it was her. She says she does a brilliant one about you create this human being that only a mother can love, and it only has one best friend in the world, and that's the mother. You do the homework, you do, and you think, wow, yeah, and you can see it. So that person grows up never really knowing how to appreciate themselves and love themselves, because once the mother's gone, who have they got?
The mother, the parent was on a pedestal.
Yeah, and that's how our relationships end up being outsourced. Like we leave ourselves thinking the only way to fill our cup is outside of us. And we've become a society of habits that outsource ourselves. Yeah. And we've lost the opportunity to put the oxygen mask on first because we don't know how to do it anymore.
No, do you know, Kylie, that's brilliant. What? Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And masterminding with Noble Goldman brings us back into ourselves. That's the beauty of these things.
Oh, that was one of the experiences I had the other day, just through having a conversation with Mark Santos, the founder of NG, and just his willingness to just come in when I needed to have a conversation with him and give me the time, and we had a really good laugh, and we covered what we needed to. But it was that thing of, he filled my cup in that moment, but at the same time I had to step forward to receive that. I had to make that space and create that opportunity for Mark to step into it. And that's why, once again, you go back to that when we choose to reach out and ask for help, the people who are there are the people who one are the perfect person to support you, but also it gives them the opportunity to shine and be there. Not that they want any accolades for it. It's that thing of, hey, I have that gift and I want to gift it to you. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be, especially when we realize that, you know, there's so many people in the online space who are talking about the hustle, the grind. And when you listen to Abraham Hicks, she talks about that. You're basically rowing upstream. Just pull the oars in and just throw the oars away, as Carly says. Get rid of them and just let the rowing boat go with the stream, with the way it's flowing. Stop fighting it. Yes, there's going to be times where you're going to go into some really rough water, grade 4, and it's going everywhere, and you're going to need to adapt to that. But there's still times when you just got to trust if you're opening the door inwards. Because whilst we're opening the door outwards, we're constantly, the conversation I had today, I just said to the person I was speaking to, there's a lot of external factors there that are controlling you. And that's a disempowering place to live, because you're out of control. When it's external factors, you're not in control of any of those. And if they're affecting who you are and dictating and basically setting the sail for where you're going into the storm. You are not going away from the storm. And if that storm is not where you want to be, and you know it isn't going to serve you, we all know that there's growth in something, but I'd rather be going in the direction that I wish to go and experiencing what I need to, rather than being taken somewhere far away from where I want to be and experiencing all this challenge and then all this storm, and then all of a sudden the storm settles and I go, where the hell am I? I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be. And that's when most people, that's when they say the line of success is not like this. It's like, because yes, it's challenging, but for most people, they don't even know where the true destination is. And the analogy of, if you don't start writing and directing and playing the roles in your own movie of life, somebody else is going to start directing you. And they're going to take you on the way that they want the movie to go. And all of a sudden, you're going to get to that destination and go, this isn't where I want to be. What the hell's been happening for the past 5 years? And most of us know that a year ago, if it was when COVID came in, that's gone quick. That's gone fast. I know it's been challenging, but it's gone quick. And every year, as we get older, and some of you will be able to amplify this message, it goes quicker. So, I've turned 40, and I remember it's about 7 years of age at my party, and my cousin's partner was 40, and I'm like, whoa, that's so old. And now I'm 40, and I don't feel old, but I'm thinking, where did those 33 years go?
Yes, where did they go? I remember not inviting. I've got an older sister, 16 years older than me, nearly 17 years older than me. And I didn't want to invite her to our party we were having at home because she was 40. And I said, you're too old to come to our party. She came, but I told her she was too old to come to the party. But yeah, where does it go? Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to say goodbye because I got a 4 o'clock reading coming, so I'm going to get my battery charged up. So great topic.
Lovely
as
to
always.
See you, Trudy. Thank you. Bye-bye, Dawn.
Nice to see you, Trudy.
Couldn't get in the conversation on the motherhood because I'm not a mother. I chose not to be a mother because I was a bitch of a child. So.
Payback.
Yeah, I wasn't duplicating that. I wasn't getting payback. But anyway, see you all next week.
Yeah, lots of love. Lots of love, Trudy.
Bye.
Bye, love. Bye. Yeah, yes. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely great. And I am gonna wrap this call up anyway now, because we've come to the hour mark. But I really just want to amplify what the topic was about: accessing the minds and value of others to win at the game of life, letting other people share their wisdom, share their value, getting surrounded by people who are in a community who are all striving forward to achieve their goals, their vision, their dreams, their mission. And attaching into that energy and knowing that, especially when you're surrounded by people living by the golden rule of do unto others as you would have done unto you, we've always got our hands reached out, ready to help and climb to the top of that mountain together, irrelevant of what success means to you, irrelevant of what the goals, the dreams, the aspirations are for you. It's about us climbing that together and seeing it all from the top and enjoying it and embracing each other as true human beings from a place of love. So thank you to Trudy, who's just left. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, my mom, for your time, your energy, your gratitude. accessing your minds and your value. And I look forward to speaking to you all again a week from now.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.